And we're Libe.
Relieve. Leave ho. Good morning, Michael Knight.
Good morning, Vinny. For once, I'm the guy in the north. You're the guy in the south.
That's pretty amazing, come to think of it. Yes, we are with you on Labor Day. He is Michael Knight, and he is in beautiful Pasadena, California, hard by the 210.
And where the hell is Vinny? He's south of here in a town called
Carlsbad, baby. Is this where
Carlsbad
the Beach
Caverns by the
Boys?
Sea. What's
Is
that?
it? Is this where the Beach Boys got their start, or was that Hawthorne?
Hawthorne.
Oh, okay. I.
Not
But
quite
this
as
was
pretty as Carlsbad.
this is where they were. This is what they were talking about when they
This is
started.
they sold a few records in Carlsbad.
Ah, good, good. Well, there's plenty to steal here in Carlsbad. It's a beautiful place, right by the shore, right by the water. See, the coast. If you're from back east, you call it the shore. If you're from here, you call it the coast, right?
It's the coast. Well,
Uh,
Vinny, tell us one story about your trip. You came a long way. That's a long drive. I know you say, "Oh, we'll be there in no time," but it takes some time to get there from Seattle to San Diego. So
yes.
tell us a story about one of your adventures on the road.
Well, I'm with my daughter, and one of the things that we love to do together is we are people who love to thrift shop. We love to go and we'll stop, and if we see a thrift shop or a garage sale or a Goodwill or something like, especially Goodwills, we have an addiction to stopping in Goodwills and seeing what the heck is.
I better look at Salvation Army, but I know exactly what you mean.
So, and a lot of the stuff, of course, is crap. Every once in a while, you hit a gem,
You hit a beauty.
and I think I can truly say that I hit. If I can get this, no, it's not going to come up. It went to the wrong file. I hit a beauty. I hit a in
Where were you?
Wairika,
Wairika?
where Wairika, which is right close to the California Oregon border. We're in Wairika. We pull into this Goodwill, and there's nothing in the place. And I go down this aisle where there's nothing possibly that could be what I'm looking for. It's a misplaced aisle, full of misplaced stuff. And so I head down.
You know what they call that in the business? They call those notions.
Notions, yeah, exactly. Well, this had a notion to attract me. So I go and I see a baseball glove,
No.
and I pick the glove up and I say, okay. I didn't even look at it first. I just picked it up. I said, this has got to be good. And so I turn the glove over and I open up the. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. I can't get the photo to load the right way. And
I
anyway,
can't see it.
I'll describe it. It is probably a mid 70s um, Rawlings full size glove. It's a number,
Ron Swoboda.
not better, number 423295. And as I put it on, I say to myself, Michael Knight's going to appreciate this glove,
Orlando
and
Cepeda.
I appreciate this glove. And I'm surprised that the glove is as beat up as it's ever been because this guy was not known for his fielding.
Dave Kingman.
There you go. Dave
Really?
Kingman.
No, really?
Seriously.
An unused Dave Kingman glove.
Well, what's unused? It's overly used for Dave Kingman. But I
or
pick up a
misused.
Dave, and it's a full size big glove. It's not a cheap little knockoff. I mean, I can fit my hand in it, and I can, and it's got nice pound to it. It's not worn in many places. It's just got the familiar fold over. But
So the guy who had the glove was embarrassed by it. He wouldn't even take it down to the sandlot.
yeah, it was amazing. And I said to myself, this is fate. As on the road often happens, fate calls you to a particular place.
Like Wairika.
I got called in Wairika to the Dave Kingman glove.
Wow.
And I and as we've talked about it. I collect old base. Not anybody's glove, but it has to be a player that means something to me. And certainly, Dave Kingman, has a presence in my baseball life, in your baseball life. He was a Giant and a Met, among other things. And when I went to this party last night, I told this story to this Cubs fan, the only guy at the party that was wearing a Cubs hat. So I figured when you wear a Cubs hat to a party, you must.
In Padres territory.
Yeah, you must. And he wanted to buy the glove.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, nah, I think I'm going to hang on to this $6.50 minus a 10% senior discount treasure that I have found. I don't display them. I don't get. They're just like a spiritual baseball thing.
And it was a nice Rawlings glove, you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I won't pick up the cheap gloves. If it's like a cheapie. It has to be a decent glove. It has to be a glove that I could pull off the shelf if miraculously I could have the ability to play again. That I would be great in using, or even just a soft game of catch. I could use it. All of my gloves, I have a Jerry Grody catcher's mitt. I have a couple of Tom Seaver gloves.
Wow.
Now I got a Dave Kingman. I think I have a Roy McMillan. It's with the stuff.
Funny thing, I was listening to Russ Hodges and Lon Simmons the night that Dave Kingman came up. He was not brought up for his defensive skills, but he was a third baseman in AAA baseball. That's the part that I find hard to believe. And he never played much third base for the Giants, but he didn't play third base for anybody else ever again.
I can't remember. Can't ever remember. I mean, I remember him in the outfield, and that was an adventure. And then I remember him in him
because he didn't know where the ball was coming from or where it was going to.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was the definite. He was without a doubt the guy designated hitter was built for.
Yeah,
yeah. He was tall. He was lanky, but boy, the power he generated from his arms. Yeah. I mean, he hit monumental home runs.
Yeah, big Mount Everest.
Yeah, big towering home runs that flew out of the ballpark at an amazing pace. I mean, he used to sock them in Shea Stadium, and that's a notorious tough park for home run hitters. And it was amazing how he used to just whack the ball. But the other side of that is when he played first base, people tended not to sit in the seats behind first base because it was short enough of a distance that when they threw a ball and he missed it, somebody was going to get hurt.
You might sit there once as a rookie.
Yeah,
didn't do it again.
Stay through the seats.
Talking about baseball, the Giants have been on a weird tear. I don't know if the Mets are going to. Am I going to be rooting for the Mets at the end of the season? Am I going to be rooting for the Mets postseason? What do you think, Ben?
I don't know, man. It is, the 7-Line Army, which is an independent shirt maker. They make a lot of shirts that I wear, like Sending to Be a Guy and so on and so forth. They have come out with a shirt where a number of Mets fans are on a roller coaster. And it's really true because you'll watch them one night and they are looking like, World Series material. They're looking like the Yankees. Nobody can beat them. And the next night you'll watch them and they look like the 62 Mets. They're bobbling balls and they're, just horrendous looking. You're ashamed to be I don't know, I'm never ashamed to be a fan, but you're embarrassed to be a fan.
Because you knew they were going to balk that run in somehow.
Yeah, you knew that, they're ahead, 8-0, but here comes an inning where they immediately bring in somebody that you don't know from the bullpen, and he immediately, loads the bases, gives up a bases clearing double, and loads the bases again. So they're kind to other teams. That's one thing that can be said about the Mets, is they're kind to other teams.
Well, the Giants are 10 out, and I don't know what's going to become of them, but they got into some high-scoring games, Vinny. Starting back last week with Chicago, they won 12-3. They beat Baltimore 15-8. They beat Baltimore 13-2. They lost to Baltimore 11-1. And now they've got the Colorado team to deal with in Colorado, so there'll be some home runs. But a lot of big scoring games, and then 6 in a row, 7 out of 8. But they can't gain because they got to catch both San Diego and the Dodgers. And they've been planning it so that when San Diego loses or the Dodgers lose, the other team loses too as well. And it's just impossible to gain on them. It's harder. It seems harder now, Vinny. Perhaps your expertise will correct me on this. To gain 10 games at the end of the season than it used to be.
Yeah, I believe whether it's psychological or is a fact, which, sometimes we deal in facts, but sometimes we deal in psychosis.
Can't be helped.
Yeah, well,
don't blame Vinny. Don't blame Vinny. Yeah. Blame James Kingman.
Exactly. But it does seem to be tougher to if you're 8-10 games back, to get to where you need to get to be in the conversation. That seems to be the problem, and that's not what it was designed for. This whole thing was designed, A, for money, to sell more TV spots, and B, to give, I think, fans of teams that didn't have some hope. And I think it has done that in a lot of ways. But when you look at the standings, you just feel like it's such a tough road to get over two teams.
Yep.
And maybe that's just the announcers. Maybe it's fact. Maybe it is. I haven't gone back and done a comprehensive study of teams that have come back, but I noticed that every once in a while, though, a team that is 8 games back with 2 weeks to go in the season does come up and does win it. And the Mets are not one of them. Although last year was very exciting. Last year they went to that. They had to go down to Atlanta and play in that game. They won the game that they had to win on that ninth. Was it a ninth inning home run? I forget. I think it was a ninth inning home run by Pete Alonso.
Yes, it was Alonso. Yeah,
it was Alonso, and it's so you don't give up hope until. And what you learn in baseball is you don't give up hope until you're,
mathematically eliminated.
Mathematically, like there's no way, no how, unless they go to a system where they choose teams with guys with mustaches or something like that. Your team is out of it. But they're an enigmatic team, man. They one day they look so good, and the next day they just look like they're out in a different place. I think the Giants have much the same problem, though, don't they?
Oh yeah, certainly. That was my point with the high scoring games. There was a number of high scoring games in the last 2 weeks where the winning team was scoring more than 12 runs. It was the Giants 5 out of 6 times, but in the end, they didn't gain anything by it. They beat teams. They beat teams with home runs. They had power displays. They win the game. They beat Baltimore. And what good does it do them? Because they can't gain on San Diego and they can't gain on the Dodgers. And that gets to be frustrating. As frustrating as losing. Losing takes a lot out of you and it demoralizes the team. But what happens when you win and still get nothing for it?
Well, I think that's when the old "it ain't over till it's over" speech kicks in. That's when.
It's a good time for it. But if you wait till September to try and gain and beat the Padres and the Dodgers, you're going to have a sad career.
Yeah, it gets a lot more, a lot more improbable, not impossible, but improbable once the Labor Day today. By the way, happy Labor Day to everybody. Once that speedometer clicks on Labor Day, it's extremely hard to hit the gas and get going.
You know what else happened this weekend was the beginning of college football.
Yeah. I saw that a little bit. Well, no, I didn't see any of it, but I saw that it was on the screen, and I'm just it's so into baseball.
Yeah. Well, I know what you're saying, but when you see the Cougs play the Idaho Vandals, and in the last 3 minutes they Coug it and then save the game and win it, that's exciting. They were playing in Martin Stadium or Gisa Field or whatever they call it.
Yeah, I think it's Gisa. I think it's be careful, don't run over the Gisa field.
Stay away from don't put too much Gisa on your pasta.
Yeah, stop touching your Gisa in public. I think
so. They fumbled, turned over the ball in the hot zone, in the red zone. Idaho scores and ties the game, and then with a minute 20 seconds, the Cougs come back and go down the field, kick a field goal, and win the game.
It's the Cougs, man. What did the Huskies? Did the Huskies do anything?
Huskies won. They beat a second-degree team, Montana State, I think.
Oh yeah, Montana State. Well, actually, I think I have a friend whose son just graduated college. I think he was the kicker on Montana State, if I'm not mistaken. And the Huskies are the Huskies. I mean, I don't know how many people they get to turn out on Labor Day, but they'll at least 3/4 of the way fill the stadium.
They might have a good year. You never know. I realized that I completely lost track of who's in what conference. I just have no idea.
Yeah, I know they play other teams.
They do play other
that's
teams.
Not what I know. I think they're the Big Ten, but it could be the Little 10, the Half 10, the C10.
Half 10.
Half a 10 is 5. Yeah, I think that now I'll get into college. And to be honest with you, if I was home and piddling around the house, I probably would have turned the game on. If I was home and dicking around, I would have either turned the game on or listened to it on. I don't even know who carries. I guess it's KJR carries the Huskies now.
Because they were on the Big Ten network for the game, and so it wasn't shown here. You saw a lot of the game.
That's right. You don't get the Big Ten network down here, do you?
No.
How do they let that? And correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't there 3 schools down here that are in the Big Ten?
I don't know what USC and UCLA are in. I couldn't tell you what conference they're playing in. I realized that when I was watching the games.
Yeah, I hate this. I mean, I know a lot of people like it because they get to say, well, the Huskies can test their mettle against the premier competition in the country. But I don't know, man. You got to load up a plane full of kids or young men at flying halfway across the country, or forget halfway, all the way across the country.
The way I correct myself, Oregon played Montana State, and Oregon was victorious, 59-13. I think that would be in favor of Florida. Yeah.
Oh, that must have been a lot of fun for the kids that were wearing the 13. Although you can't really say much anymore.
Although my alma mater took it to Notre Dame beautifully, 27-24. That was quite a game yesterday.
There you go.
And tonight, if you're interested, Bill Belichick is going to debut his team, North Carolina, the Tar Heels.
Yeah, but it's also the finale of, or the final episode of the tell-all for 90 Day Fiance. So that's going to be
same thing.
Well, it's going to be a hard decision. That's going to be a hard decision. But I guess I can tape, or I can find a 90 Day Fiance stuff on the Patuta. So, well,
by the way, that matchup between Texas and Ohio State was a game where two teams had the most featureless offenses I've seen in top teams. It was a relief to see LSU and Clemson actually throwing the ball down the field, having receivers and plays that would require a wide receiver. It was disappointing that Ohio State and Texas were so featureless in their offense. I thought it was worth noting.
Well, those I used to say back east schools, and there's still back east schools that haven't geographically moved their location. They're just all now in a big power mess. They used to be known for grinded out, hard ass football. And then at the right time, get back and have your quarterback, whip it down the field for a score. But the last couple of years of watching them, I haven't kind of got that feeling from them. Ohio State's supposed to be a team that's always at the top. I think the people, the Conoscenti, are saying that Penn State is the team that to watch. They're the one that's going to sneak up on everybody. I don't think it's sneaking up, but they're going to beat everybody and win the national championship. I don't know if I agree with that or not. It would be nice for Penn State to win because it would be a comeback from everything they experienced in the 90s.
Yeah.
In the 2000s, I should say. The Joe Paterno whole thing, the Jerry Sandusky thing. And it could be no better feeling to know that Jerry Sandusky was in a jail cell somewhere, having to, not allowed to see TV, just having to listen to it at a faint radio and not being able to really know what's going on, but knowing it's Penn State and that people are cheering and people are winning. That would be hard on the soul, I would think. But then again, he doesn't have any freaking soul.
Not anymore.
Yeah. He couldn't have had a soul when he was doing what he was doing. I mean, just again, but listen, people love the guy. I mean, I remember, talking to people and and they loved him. He was a nice guy. He always had an answer for you. He always had and his defenders defended him till they dragged him into a jail.
A couple of things happened with personalities this weekend. Lee Corso got the spotlight for his last college game day.
I saw a bit of that. I saw a little bit of that.
After many years of service in front of the camera.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed Lee. I always enjoyed Lee Corso. I thought it was what he lacked in incisiveness into the game, and it wasn't much. I mean, he was pretty incisive. He just made up with being an entertaining soul to watch.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you tuned in to see him. You put your television on early to see him, watch him. That and the guy who runs around with the Cougar, the Butch the Coug guy. I don't know if he's still doing what he's doing, going to all the games, but it was good stuff for Washington State. And so congratulations to Lee Corso and
the other controversial character that was in the headlines for who he is and for what he did was Jerry Jones of the Cowboys, who managed to alienate everybody who wanted to keep Parsons and alienate everybody who wanted to trade him, saying he didn't get enough for him, should have gotten blah, blah, blah. But Jerry made up his mind that he was not going to deal with this guy just because he was a stubborn Texas prick, and sacrificed the best defensive player, the highest paid defensive player in the league is who he got rid of. Couldn't have him on his team. Couldn't find a way to work with him. Couldn't find a compromise to pay him. Couldn't find anything. Couldn't talk to his agent. And it's a bad sign. Good sign for me because I hate the Cowboys. But that's just because they used to be a great team that beat my 49ers all the time. That's why I hate them.
Yeah.
Not because they were incompetent or didn't know how to pick a team or didn't know how to put together a team or keep a team. That was not the Cowboys' problem. They had loyal Cowboy fans and loyal Cowboy players, and I hated them all, mostly because they came to town and beat the 49ers. Well, I think the resentment that Jerry's feeling today is because he's making moves that don't strengthen the team and don't put him in a position to beat the 49ers. And that's a pretty weird thing to say about the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's almost unbelievable. You know, it's almost it's almost when you think of it and take emotion of who you root for out of it, just do it on a plain basis of a business. Right. It's inconceivable, some of the moves that he'll make, some of the things that he'll do. He plainly isn't thinking. He's thinking of Jerry Jones as opposed to the Cowboys as a team, Cowboys as a whole, the fans, everything that goes into it. But you know, it's like George Steinbrenner, you know. I mean, he's one of the last of the George Steinbrenner type owners. You know, he's gonna, if a guy doesn't click with him, he's not gonna keep him around. He doesn't care. He'll tank the franchise for a couple of years if he's got it.
If he feels like he can handle it.
If he feels like that, you know that it's he wants to run the ship the way he wants to run the ship. He's not answerable to a corporate board. He's not answerable to really anybody. He owns the team, and he'll run it the way he damn well pleases. There's something about that now that there's not too many of these guys in the league. You know, the Al Davises are gone, and the George Steinbrenners, and you know, the people that run their teams like that. It's kind of cool, you know. It kind of has a retro feel to it. Like I'm the boss, and you do what I say, or think like I think. And if you don't like it, I could trade you as easily as I traded a 12th round pick. You know, it means nothing to me. You're a pawn. You're a piece.
One of the guys that fit that description was Paul Brown of the Cleveland Browns, and then of the Cincinnati Bengals. He was a my way or the highway type of guy.
Yeah,
an owner manager.
Yeah, and there's something endearing about that. I mean, if there's too many of them, it's not endearing. But if there's one of them or two of them, it's kind of refreshing because they live their life not by what's politically correct. They live their life by, you know, doing what they've done their whole life to be successful. I don't agree with it in many ways, and I think that there's, you know, that once this breed dies out, but the game, as our society, will have lost something because these are really self-made men. You know, these are people who, you know, had nothing and took a flyer on, you know, this guy that was saying, listen, come up with $100,000 and join our league and put up the money to buy uniforms for these guys. And somewhere down the road, you'll benefit.
Your investment will turn into a $5 billion team.
Anybody who said that must be, that's a person I would take to a casino. That's a clairvoyant, my friend.
Yeah.
That's a really, wow. That's you just, I don't think people predict like that anymore. I don't think society runs like that anymore. You need charts and graphs and stats and everything.
You need research to back up your move.
Yeah.
And you need plan B.
A lot of research. So
how did you enjoy you're driving a Mazda?
Yes, I'm driving a Mazda 3. Excuse me. A Mazda CX-50. And that car,
how did it like the road?
It's it loved it. It really enjoyed it. No problems. It's I always like Mazdas because they give you a nice mix of comfort. It's a comfortable car, but they also put in a lot of sports car DNA. A lot of, if you make a turn, if you hit that steering wheel and get over into a lane or something, it goes, it moves.
Is that the suspension, do you think?
Yeah, it's the way they tune the suspension. It's the way they tune the engine to be responsive. Maybe they sacrifice a little bit in gas mileage, in gas economy, but it makes up for it in that fun to drive quotient.
Now, California's having a heat wave, temperatures in the 90s day after day.
Air conditioners, then would you say the air conditioner is cold? Yeah, and by the way, Michael, I want to say something. As you know, I'm on this trip with my beautiful daughter, and she drove for the first time that I remember, the first time ever in LA traffic. And
something everyone should learn how to do.
You know what? That's exactly what I was saying in my mind. And she came through it like a champ, man.
All you got to do is relax and leave room in front of yourself. There's going to be stop and go traffic. Remember that. You're going 70 miles an hour. How quick can you stop? Because that's going to be asked of you sometime in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, leave yourself enough room to stop in the space that you're allotted, and you won't have an accident. But I was very proud that she drove in LA traffic. I mean, she doesn't get to drive that much, so it's but it was she did a lot of driving on this trip, and I got to tell you, as an old guy, there's something nice about sitting in the car and letting somebody else do the driving, looking out the window, looking at things you haven't seen before when you've been down that road. It was cool. I thoroughly. It's made the trip a different perspective for me, in that I'm able to look at things and see things and enjoy things on a different vibe, on a different plane. So it's really good. And I don't think I hit the brake pedal when I was in the passenger seat too many times, right? Maybe 10, 15, 20 times. It's I'm sure you know the feeling. You get in the car with somebody, not just her, somebody, anybody, and you're hitting the brake pedal with your foot.
Oh yeah, you got to brake for your daughter.
Yeah. So that was really it was one of those proud father moments, and even though she's older than a teenager, it's just a thing that makes you feel like you taught them how to drive. And
Did you have satellite radio?
No, this car does not have satellite radio. We had something better. We had Aaron's playlist.
Okay.
Which what is the
Spotify?
What's the song Aretha Franklin was singing? What a Fool Believes. She's got a version of Aretha Franklin singing Michael McDonald's "What a Fool Believes," the Doobie Brothers. Wow. Yeah. It's freaking killer, man. It was, we don't do this too often. We actually clicked back and listened to it a couple of times. It was really, I had never heard it before, and it's a great song, but for her to click back, for her to have that. I mean, she's got unbelievable musical taste. So her playlist was really all we needed. And I think we listened to part of a couple of ball games. And but that her list is so good that you don't need it. It's diverse too. It's not just all one thing, but a lot of good power pop. Um, a lot of bands that I never heard before. There's one band. What was the band with the songs that we played the whole album yesterday? Shannon and the Clams. Have you heard of them?
Shannon and the Clam?
Shannon and the Clams.
Huh, no.
Like plural. Check them out. Check out. I don't know how many albums they have out, but there's an album that sounds like Phil Spector produced it.
I haven't heard of them. Good job.
They're good. I guess they're good friends with John Waters.
Oh, really?
Which puts them up high in my book. And I love the name Shannon and the Clams.
I got it.
So we had an excellent musical trip.
There she is. I got it. Shannon
She's
and the Clams, right?
Yeah, Shannon and the Clams. And this was it's good to hear people today, current bands picking up on the wall of sound and picking up on that stuff. It's not all just jangly guitar pop or dark.
They got to know the history and the reason and the predecessor.
Yeah, and whoever produced this album, obviously, listened to a lot of Brian Wilson, listened to a lot of Phil Spector, and listened to a lot of that, the wall of sound stuff. It wouldn't shock me if I looked at it and there was probably some of the remaining Wrecking Crew on it somewhere, or at least consultant, because it sounded and the songs were, good, current, but yet, it welded today and that sound of yesterday that we love. It put it all together nicely. I was really impressed.
Ask Aaron what's the name of the album.
You know the name of which particular album?
The one we were listening to.
Yeah.
We have shuffle, but you like songs from their latest album, The Moon is in the Wrong Place.
The Moon is in the Wrong Place.
Got it.
That's their latest.
Thank you.
Give that a spin, man. I think you'll enjoy that. I'll be interested in hearing what you think of it.
I'm still excited by new groups.
Yeah. I my tolerance for stuff I don't like. I used to listen to stuff that I didn't like just to see what was going on.
You have to.
Yeah, but when I find something that I really like, I mean, I still get, I'm still the kid running home from the record store, to show all the kids what came in on Tuesday. What I was able to take.
I got the new size right here.
Yeah, I remember I did it with the White Album. When the White Album came out, man, I got that thing and I came home and I got a bunch of kids on my block who were, tragically unhip. And pulled the record player to my window was in the front of the house, my room. And so I put my record player on my desk and, put the White Album on. And listen to this, man. This is like something you may never have heard before. And all of a sudden I could see people picking up on it and saying, oh, there was a lot of people who said, what the hell is that? But you could tell who the kids were that were hip, were in tune. We're going to be music aficionados. we're good because they picked up on it even at that young age of 68. So, 11, 12, 13, they were picking up on it. They were grooving to it, and let's face it, the kids in my neighborhood, a lot of them were still listening to doo-wops. But there was a garage band undercurrent to the neighborhood, which was really good. This guy, his father owned a candy store, one of the candy stores. He was a guitarist and had a band that used to practice, I believe, in the back of the candy store. And they were actually pretty good. I mean, I don't know. Somebody had told me once when I was telling the story that he thought that Gene Simmons might have been involved in that group. I don't know that for a fact, but it's the right age,
right?
They were older kids, and it was the right age of people. So, and he wasn't Gene Simmons back then, but he went to the right school too. 145. So
145.
IS 145. Joseph Pulitzer Junior High School.
If you want to wear leather boots up to your knees that are shaped like demons and snakes, you should go to 145.
No, because that's the school that I got in trouble for wearing Nehru jacket. I trekked all the way into the city to get a Nehru jacket, and I was told when I got to school that you can't wear that. I said, but wait a minute.
Not in this school.
It says it's freedom. You always teach me about freedom and freedom of expression. Now, the art teacher liked it. Mrs. Ash, who was the art teacher in what was that, 7th grade? In 7th grade.
Vinnie.
She was cool. She liked it. And Mrs. Festinger liked it, who was the English teacher. She thought it was a cool, because it was a green with some paisley, not printed, but in the material. I don't know what you call that. But she was okay with it. But Mr. Ryan, the principal, and a few other teachers thought it was too avant-garde, I guess, for...
So this was the beginning of trouble.
That
Well,
teaching
in the bud.
That record has followed us all through our academic career. That Rachichi kid, he's trouble, or she's trouble. My sister Patty was a handful too. My sister Marianne was good. She was very obedient of the rules and wore the uniform, but my sister Patty was a wild one. She was autistic, man. Artistic.
Gotcha.
And she loved, I think she actually got a kick out of breaking the rules and seeing teachers squirm and all of that stuff. And I think probably seeing my father squirm a little bit too.
I imagine that there would be a downside to making Joe Rachichi squirm.
For me, there was. Yeah. Joe is not above a solid slap to the back of the knot. All right, hang on one second. I'll see you down. I'll call you or call me and let me know where you are.
You just watch Pam make sure she's moving out.
Yes.
Watch her food looking for the chair out.
Yes.
Okay, love you, bye.
All right, love you too. Talk to you later. Bye. Have fun. The daughter is heading to the beach.
Off on another adventure.
She's going down to Carlsbad Beach. I'll join her a little bit later, and we'll be beaching it. Which is, as you know, if you're from Seattle, the beach where you can actually go into. Although I'm not too crazy about going in the water, but
it's warmer than LA, but it's not. It ain't Hawaii.
Yeah, it definitely ain't Hawaii, and down here they have that sewage problem.
Yeah,
which you have to watch out for because the Mexican government is lackadaisical.
They've been looking for me for years and never find me.
Yeah, lackadaisical in their sewage treatment stuff. So they just believe you can slip whatever you want into the ocean, nobody will notice.
What are your travel plans, Vinny?
We're here until tomorrow. Then we're heading up the coast with stops in Ventura, Santa Barbara. If we have time, we're going to stop by you and at least say hello. And let's see, Ventura, Santa Barbara. We are going to the Madonna Inn. Because you should go to the Madonna Inn if you're with your daughter.
Just check out the bathrooms, if nothing else.
Well, we're gonna try to eat in a restaurant.
Good.
My daughter wants to. It's like something she's always wanted to do. So we're gonna check that off of her bucket list.
Well, that's something that they'll be very pleased to have you.
Yeah, and I'll be very pleased to be there. That's what you call a great photo opportunity. There's just signs all over the place, and it'll be a lot of fun. We get along spectacularly well in the car. For two people spending so much time in a car hurtling toward the equator or the other way, depending on which way we're going, it really we do get along well. So you're
going to be going up the 101, not the 5 then.
Yeah, we're going to take the 101 up. So we'll get there. We'll get to San Francisco probably Wednesday sometime, and we'll see. I'm staying. Then when I get up there, it's my sister, and spend some time with her, and a few friends from the Bay Area, and then of course next Sunday, it's the big 7-0, man.
Nothing to it. There's nothing to it.
I think so. It doesn't. I've been flipping out about it a little bit because it's not a reasonable expectation to get to 80. So you're looking at if you got stuff you want to do, you better do it.
Don't leave it undone.
You better get on it. It's the things you still can do. So hopefully there'll be a couple of trips, but it's a time when you kind of more look back than you do look forward, and you just think of a good life. I mean, it's been tough at times. Certainly had its speed bumps.
You can count on that.
Yeah, but I got people that love me, and I got as much as I always talk about my dad. He gave me that ability to get knocked down and get back up again. And
that's important because it's sure as hell you're going to get knocked down.
Yeah,
who you are.
And it's always, I guess, what I look for in baseball teams. You get knocked down, you get back up,
and you come back in the 9th.
Yeah, you just come. You don't. It ain't over till it's over. Which is, Yogi's big. Although, did he ever say that? Really? He did say that. Okay. Because many of the things attributed to Yogi, I don't think Yogi ever said, or he had some good writers.
Well, he said, line up alphabetically by height. I like that. It's one of my favorite directions. Try that with the group of people that you're organizing. Line up alphabetically by height.
And when you say that, I'll bet you people will it'll take them 2 minutes before they kind of figure out, well, wait a second.
Oh, yes.
And they'll go by, half the people will go by height, half the people will go by alphabetically. Which always, always is a good study in people. Oh, man.
Well, today being Labor Day Monday, I'll see you on a wacky Wednesday from someplace somewhere in California.
Could be your living room, Michael. You never know. We could be sitting in the park downstairs with the portable studio and just looking at the girls go by.
That would be a pleasure.
It's all right. It's yeah. It's and by the way, before I go, I do want to say happy birthday to Penny. It was great to see her and her family and everything for her 60th birthday. So that was, we're getting up there, Michael. But what the heck? At least I'm around to talk about it, and that's more than I can say for a lot of my friends. So
True.
I'll take it. I'll take it, Pally. All right, I will see you Wednesday for a Wacky Wednesday, if the Lord's willing, and the creek don't rise. Both of those things have to be.
Both those things have to happen together.
Right, to get on the internet. That's our credo. And as Sammy Davis Jr. once said so eloquently, peace, love, and happy Labor Day, Mr.
If you leave your
Manischewitz.
bottle of Manischewitz in the front seat during your trip north, it'll be nice and warm. Be warm Manischewitz for your hit.
I'm not a warm wine guy, man. I learned my lesson one Labor Day weekend in Wildwood, New Jersey. I learned the lesson of warm wine.
I'm going to think that there was some heaving involved with that.
Projectile.
Good job.
It
It took a while, but we finally got it out of the carpet.
Yeah, let me tell you, that got when Eric Lindrews sold that car, probably 6 or 8 months after our insane trip to Wildwood, the smell was still in there. And when I heave, I mean, things come up that have been lost for a long time.
Nothing half-ass. Nothing.
No, we don't half step when it comes to throwing up. It all comes out.
It'll all come out sooner or later. Yeah.
We started new.
All right,
Mike. I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you all for listening too, man. And we'll catch up with you on Wednesday morning. Take care.
All right, Carlsbad. See you.
All right, Mikey.